On today's episode, we will be diving into that ancient technology.
Ventilador año 1800 Tartaria.
The ancient technology it so amazes me. Tartaria, this is a new subject to me, but if you ask me, this is that ancient technology. For entertainment purposes only. Don't come for me. All for entertainment purposes. Look at this. When they said they built stuff to last, this is what they meant. Built to last. No electricity. Man. Look at how that's pumping. Is this steam powered? How are they doing this? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jesky Chuck back with another creepy and scary TikTok reaction. This time we're diving into the ancient technologies of Tartaria. It's so interesting. It always fascinated me, and I never really covered this too much. You know, it's always more questions at the end of the videos when I get done. So today we're going to be diving in a little bit. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're new around here, you got so many other videos where we dive in depth to so many different creepy, interesting topics. I know you would love it. So be sure to check those out. And the rest of us, we're on these jet skis, on these dark water nines, speeding through it. And I appreciate you guys being beside me. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Let's go. Oh yeah, and you guys know what it is. It's New Year's Eve, you know. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with me on New Year's Eve. All you guys be safe. Don't party too hard. I know y'all like to get buck wild, but stay safe for your boy. Let's get into it.
I lived in an old house. It had fireplaces in every room except the bathroom. The realtor told me that the fireplace cannot be used because it wasn't built properly. I thought it was strange. The Tartarian fireplaces did not burn. Fireplaces were as spectacular as the buildings they stood in. But unlike the way we use fireplaces today, the fireplaces themselves were not designed to burn anything. The chimneys were not used to draw smoke out of the fireplace, and out of the house's structure were not used primarily to provide any structural support. The reinforcement in the house was connected to the dome of the tower on the roof, which was quite possibly filled with various substances such as mercury, radium, or quartz crystal, and metal bars sticking out from the top and sides of the building. Everything was then connected with the metal back sheeting found inside the original Tatar fireplaces and chimneys. Metal poles sticking out of the upper and sides of houses and other Tatar buildings acted as ethereal electric antennas that harnessed the power of the ether to channel this free energy into the chimney. The air ventilation shafts, air ducts, found in the rooms of the house were connected to the chimney. Ionized air, along with rising and falling currents of hot and cold air, created a pressure electric vacuum inside the chimney. During the winter, chimneys acted as pressure electric vacuums, emitting captured heat inside the chimney out over the fireplace. During the summer, the process would be reversed and the fireplace and ventilation pipes would absorb heat into the fireplace and air ducts, connected to the inside of the chimney inside the house and through ionized air from the etheric electrically charged metal backboard. Inside the KO mine would push the heat up the chimney and out the house. Reinforcement, dome, roof towers and metal bars sticking out of the sides of the house acted as a spider, attracting ether and concentrating etheric energy throughout the house. Just like spiders can grow and survive without food and water if they touch their web, Tartarians were able to live without food and water provided they remained inside their etherically charged home.
Yo, that was crazy. They were able to survive just off the, how did he say it? The euphoric, etheric energy from the ether. My God, that is interesting. We are diving in deep from the Tartaria. I don't know much about this. This is all new to me. I see these videos pop up, but what are they really hiding? What is really going on? I want the truth. Dang, so they had giants back then with the Tartarians? Look how huge she is. Hold on, y'all. I know they going fast. This is how they playing them. They throwing these at us rapid fire. I'm gonna try to slow down the best ones. Hold on, we gotta see this whole thing. They took away. Look what they took away, y'all. Those channeling pylons. They be channeling the ether within the yellow circles. They took it all away. Oh yeah, we're in the jet cave right now. We're analyzing all of them. We see what they took away. They took away the devices that we use for channeling. We got you. Very strong. Who's channeling it now? Entertainment purposes, of course. Whole video is entertainment purposes. Oh yeah, there's definitely some type of pillars going on here. Who knows what's inside that mountain? What if this was just a giant mud flood and this is starting to get uncovered? Who knows what's really all inside them mountains right there? Dang.
That's good. That's real good. Alright, listen to this. So the mud flood was a catastrophic event that happened roughly 150 years ago, wiping out many civilizations and burying many buildings under mud. Many ancient structures that we see today was once buried. All over the world, you can find these buried structures, and we literally had to dig them out from the mud. And every now and then, we stumbled across sinkholes, uncovering buried buildings, and this is the reason why so many buildings have windows partly buried in the ground. If you notice with this one, the windows get smaller and smaller, and sometimes you see buildings with windows like this. Trust me, that's not a basement, because if you keep digging, you will see the original front door. Oh my days. So anytime you come across buildings like this, you're dealing with mud flood. So you want to know more about the mud flood?
What's going on with that house? Look how massive that bell was. This looks like an old photo, but this like electricity. Look how tall those pylons are. This looks like a futuristic Las Vegas building. You're telling me this was a old building in 1931? I don't even know where to begin on this image. It looks like water's pouring from the sides of the building. Look how tight this is. You know, people getting hyped about the Statue of Liberty, but look at this. Is that a fork and knife? Guys, that is a fork and knife. He can't even get his hands around that. I bet he can't even pick that sword up. You mean to tell me they had aim too? The Giants had aim? Oh, Lord, help us. Those boots are as big as him. Why was that fork and knife so big? Why were those boots so big? For entertainment purposes only, y'all. I believe this is how they got their water out of thin air. This was a giant device they used to get their water from it. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Alright, it took me a little bit to find this one. I believe this is the one talking about what the Colosseum's possibly been up to.
So now we're creating electricity out of thin air. There's nothing new under the sun. This has been done many years ago. This hunk of stone is an air well. The general idea is that it collects moisture in the air and turns it into water. Clean drinking water. You see, back in the day, we did not just make buildings and structures for looks. They were for a purpose. They were engineered and designed with intention. Those aren't just random holes. These guys were great engineers. I mean, this would gather moisture from the air, condense it, and clean it, and even cool the water. This is what I would call intelligent design. Why aren't we doing this anymore? I mean, I haven't done it myself, but it looks like there's a lot of information about it already. Atmospheric water. This is water drawn from the air. And now that we've gotten water from the air, water can now be used to generate electricity. So here's a picture of the air well that we've been talking about. And here's another picture of what looks like an air well, but in fact, that's not an air well. What is that? Oh, look, the Colosseum, an amphitheater for staged performances and housing animals. Are we just looking at a blown up, larger air well that we now call the Colosseum an amphitheater? No, that can't be. Nah. It's close. This here is the engineering design for an air well, and this is the top view of the Colosseum. I mean, could that be the same thing chopped off? Could it be a coincidence that the shape and the arches and the arcs match how you would engineer an air well and receiving the moisture from the air? I mean, if that was the case, that is a gigantic air well containing a lot of water for the entire city, free of charge, no utility bills. Am I the only one seeing a resemblance with these two structures? That's why a lot of our buildings are destroyed, because if they weren't destroyed, it would make more sense on how they were truly used. But then you've got a destroyed building. We have no idea that it really could potentially look like that.
That was extremely interesting. Your thoughts below. Do you think these old school buildings had some type of ancient design? Or was it all just made up? Let's keep it going on these dark waters.
The most intriguing part of the Colosseum. What you can see on the Colosseum ground today are the tunnels and doorways that used to be underground. The sand on the ground of the Colosseum washed away over the centuries. The sight of the engineering that was used here is absolutely breathtaking. The over 200 tunnels and doorways you can see once housed gladiators and wild animals used for the bloodiest gladiator games.
Or they could have been generating free energy.
Some of these tunnels go underground to exits outside the Colosseum where the gladiators were moved through. The most interesting games held in the Colosseum are the naval games, where the ground is flooded with water, and the gladiators were made to fight wild animals.
Maybe it was flooded with water because it was supposed to have water circulating through it.
What is your take about the bloodshed that took place in this arena? Follow for more. And doorways that used to be underground. The sand on the ground of the Colosseum washed away over the centuries. The sight of the engineering that was used here is absolutely breathtaking. The over 200 tunnels and doorways you can see once housed gladiators and wild animals used for the bloodiest gladiator games. Some of these tunnels go underground to exits outside the Colosseum where the gladiators were moved through. The most interesting games held in the Colosseum are the naval games, where the ground is flooded with water, and the gladiators were made to fight wild animals.
Ancient Rome Colosseum. Here's another picture of one, but pay attention to the infrastructure, like the size, the shape, and the diameter around it. Now take a look at this modern day version called an NBA stadium. Now this is an NFL stadium before and after modern day technology. Look how closely these stadiums resemble Colosseums. This is a national hockey stadium. But notice that same infrastructure. This is a tennis arena where they play the US Open, still with that same infrastructure. Even where they host WrestleMania is in that same gladiator infrastructure. Even FIFA follows the same infrastructural pattern as the Colosseums. Before modern day sports, our eyes were focused inside one of these. These are where gladiators fought for the death inside things called a Colosseum. They would host exotic battles to the public, and each team would represent a city or town that they were from, same as our modern day sports in the NBA and NFL now. It's not hard to depict the lies because history always repeats itself. You gotta sit and think for a sec. Gladiators date back to 264 BC, and the Roman Empire started a little after that in 27 BC. That's where you start seeing the Colosseums. Then it took us 2,000 years later to figure out the technology to reconstruct our first stadiums in 1908. That's just amazing. Mind blown.
When we think of the Colosseum, we usually think of gladiator games. But did you know when the Colosseum was first built, this arena used to be flooded with water to stage fake naval battles? They would have real ships and fighters and everything. But a little later, they realized this was super impractical, so they removed that feature and added all these tunnels instead.
I want the truth.
What happened to the other half of the Colosseum? For over 4 centuries, the arena was in continuous use until the popularity of the games died out. The most natural cause of the stadium's damage has been earthquakes, which the Colosseum's architecture is particularly susceptible to on the south side of the stadium. A major quake in the 1300s brought down the whole southern half circuit wall. The stone rubble from the event was actually used to build many of the churches in Rome. Through the centuries, the Roman citizens themselves would quarry the stadium and the seats made of marble. They'd use these materials for other buildings. This ended in the 1700s on the insistence of a Roman pope. History Channel has an 8-part special airing Sunday nights on the full history of the Colosseum. By the Middle Ages, the Colosseum was being used for a shocking number of endeavors. Vaulted passageways, it was sheltering cobblers, blacksmiths, and priests. For a time, it was used as a church. A Roman patrician family even took it over at one point and fortified it. At one point in time, it was a sprawling garden that was being used by botanists. What happened to the other half?
Now let's picture this a giant dome. Say this is just the middle part, but it protrudes up to become a dome. Right there, if you will, but goes up a little taller. That would be a sight. They're incredible. Is this how they used TV back in the day? How the Tartarians used? Was this? They might have communicated like this. This is insane. Them boys with speakers. People nowadays like, man, I got 12s in the trunk. Man, I got 15s in the trunk. Man, do you know what they had back in the day? Try some 311s, my guy. They had 582s up there. Yo, that's quantum locking. Did you see that? That is quantum locking. Frozen in place like that. I wonder what that replicates. Huh. Almost look like the sun or moon, huh? Let's just try that one more time. I love this experiment. I absolutely love that. Oh no, the pieces are starting to add up. We need more on this experiment. I'm not done here. I will be coming back to this experiment, and we will be breaking this down. Oh no, we're not done. We will be back. Where was it? Hold on. This almost is like our sun reacting to the different noble gases within our atmosphere, giving us the colors we see. I believe that's what's going on here, but we need to do a thorough investigation and see what literally is happening. Comments below if you know what's going on with this experiment so we can look more deep into it. Because I'm gonna do it. I might do a whole separate video on this because this is important. Alright, y'all know what time it is. That's it for today's episode. If you guys made it this far, drop the 100s in the comments so I know you're real. I love this subject. The reset, Great Tartarian. I'm new to all this, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. There's so much new evidence for entertainment purposes only. There's so much new research that's coming out, so many new photos. Man, I love it. I enjoy it genuinely. If you love it as much as me, put it down in the comments and we'll have to do a part 8 on this. I don't care. I do a part 35 on this. I love it. But until the next episode, hope you guys have a good, happy New Year's. Be safe. Thank you for spending it with your boy, man. It means a lot. And I hope you guys really have fun, man. Try not to be too serious on everything. Just relax, have a little bit of fun, enjoy yourself. You guys deserve it. You treat yourself to something. Appreciate you guys. You guys have a good one and safe one. Peace.